Well, I don't believe it, but the moment I've finally been waiting for has arrived. Yes, the map is done. G'day, I'm Stephen Spry. Let's play this thing. 20th century Newcastle. Yes. With, oh my God, I don't want those. I just want, well, I've got to have that one. I just want sandbox mode and no costs, so let's see what this thing looks like, and I'll take you through the final changes that I made to it. And there we are. Doesn't that look absolutely marvellous? Yes, well, alright. Changes. I moved this. The old historic line that serves a bunch of coal staiths that are going to be built here. You might remember it was all elevated from way back up here and across here and so on. And I had another look at the map, the old maps, and also saw some satellite images, but no, they didn't show these. Yeah, the old maps showed that this didn't run up here, that it came out here further. So I moved it, just to be a little bit more hysterically correct. Speaking of hysterically correct, oh God, here we go. Okay, bridges, yes. I changed the date, because I was in the map editor, to put a proper concrete bridge here at Stockton from the 1970s, right, and a proper steel truss bridge here from the 1960s. I didn't think this whole island was open until 84, which is when this opened, but apparently the road, the connection through to Stockton and everything else, and some of these industries, they were all active well before this was. So that's good to know. Yes. While I was fiddling there playing with concrete bridges and truss bridges, I built them. Now this one doesn't have any collision. This one still does. You might have fun here with getting the tracks through. Maybe, but you know, hey, just rebuild it. Now, I've added a couple of notations to the map while I rebuilt that bridge. This flyover here, these top pair of tracks that take the coal up here to Kooragang Island, that top pair of tracks didn't exist until they built this flyover here for the pedestrian line in 2006. Useful bit of hysterical nonsense for you to worry about there, maybe. And down the other end, oh my God. Yeah, well, it's a mix of old and new, that's for sure. Where are we? Yes. The original bridge that connected Terralba and the southern suburbs to Boolaroo was the Watkins Bridge. Unfortunately, it was a timber bridge, and naturally, we don't have any. Oh, that's a bugger. So yeah, we've had to use stone, but never mind. And the reason I put that in there is because the Five Islands Bridge, this lot here, yes, you'll notice that this country road is disconnected there and here, because this wasn't built and the Watkins Bridge wasn't demolished until the early 70s. So just something else that you could play with there. Right. Now, what else? Big change. Can you remember what was in here? All those suburban streets. Yes, well, guess what? You don't want that one. No, I want tools. Yes, I want player ownership tool, because look, everything's player owned now, but all of my newer streets from, let's say, the 60s and 70s onwards, they were just creating too much trouble for me, so I killed them. And didn't take a few hours. Yeah, all the invisible ones, you could almost see where they were if you look close enough. No, don't even try and strain your eyes. But you'll get an idea, perhaps, if you really want to develop the map a bit further. You could probably see where they were. Come up here to this area where all of that was covered in them. You can sort of see a bit of an outline there, and all through here. Yeah. Nah. I decided that, okay, we're back in the 1900s. Let's just let the map develop itself if it intends to grow into these areas. I mean, you're in Sandbox. There's a suburb here that doesn't have a suburb. Oh, well, you can check that on the map and put that in, can't you? I suppose I could. All right, everything's blue. Oh, yes. Major change here. You forgot to upgrade that bridge too, by the way, because this is yeah. No, this is a modern edition. This bypass over here, but look, you can't get everything right. But see down here, I did improve this. It was all over the bloody shop, mainly because it wasn't level. So I rebuilt that entire area there and flattened it and rebuilt it properly. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, it was not pretty, and I want this to be pretty. It certainly is. Certainly is pretty for you. I want this to be pretty for you. Now, because I killed all the streets from the modern era, you'll notice there are none in here where the university... Oh, yes, there is. Look, one. I'll go away with you. You missed one. No, shut up. It can stay. I'm not going to go through that again. Yeah. So, they've all been... Oh, jeez. Never mind. Oh dear. And all of Warrabrook, which is this suburb here, doesn't exist. Oh. No. But all of that new stuff there and through here doesn't exist. Well, look, let's just see if the game does stuff and spreads out through there. What about this? I'm pretty sure that road would have seen that open in the 60s. Yeah, 60s. Oh, okay. That's why it's disconnected from there and all through here. Yeah, because this is all modern shite. Okay, alright, okay. That probably wouldn't be one of them either. That'd be concrete. Or girder. I don't know. Look it up on Google and do a bit of street view and see what sort of bridge it is. Can't do everything for you. Speaking of which, what? I want to show you some satellite pictures I found. Oh, cool. All right, let's have a look at them. My goodness, that took a while to load. It did, didn't it? We are at historical imagery from portal.spatial.newsouthwales.gov.au, blah, 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 blah. Right. Okay, we're nowhere near Newcastle. All right, well, let's get rid of these horrible lines. I don't want them, right? Going to come out a long way, right, and then find Newcastle, which is up here. Lake Macquarie, almost there. Okay, Newcastle, good. Now, there is a whole heap of 1944 aerial pictures we're going to have a look at, and you can see the extent of the coverage of those images. Ooh, yes. Okay, all right. Let's widen that. And perhaps shrink that. Can you? That would have probably closed it. Let's no. I'll poop. Now I've buggered it. You have, haven't you? There. Is that better? It's great fun finding out where things are. Zooming in. Yes. 1944, remember? Right, Kooragang Island, before it was developed. Yeah, yep. Lots of swamp that's been reclaimed. Righto. And I believe that whole channel there was filled in too. Right, okay, let's zoom in a bit further because I really want to show you this. Remember the Port Waratah coal loader and that historical image I showed you last time of the rail yard that's here? Right. Not that you can see much other than there's lots and lots and lots of gondolas full of coal or empty of coal sitting here, and the roundhouse. Right, all good fun. I'll just zoom back out a bit. And this BHP Steelworks. It's gone now. Absolutely disappeared. Oh, if we do that, look. Nothing there on the map. Was that the one? Yes, it was. But you can get an idea of the extent of it if you want to do something with it. My God, it's amazing. It is. It's huge, isn't it? So this was, what did you say, 1944. Right. So I'll probably be coming back here while I'm playing with the map, because it shows there's the Wallsend line, which was still in place and still in use in 1944 up here. Where's Wallsend? It's up here somewhere. I don't know. Oh, God help you. And the tram line, interesting. It went cross country through the burbs here. I don't know if any cars used it, but hey, all these tram lines and everything else are now on the map too. Well, that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Yeah. The hill. Something's happening with the hill. I'm not quite sure what. It looks like it's only just started being built. Right. So there was still some sort of coal miney thing happening around here, was there? More than likely, I don't know, but let's just assume that everything's pretty cool. So, and in 1944, look. Oh, okay. I wanted to show you this one too before we get back to our actual map. Look at this. Can we get rid of this crap? Sure. Look at the yard. Okay, the station's here in the bottom left corner. That's it. Can't go in any further? Nope. So those old images, they're really, really interesting, aren't they? Yep. But don't forget, this loopy stuff, not there originally. That's there just to help you avoid the flip-flop if you want to play the game the way Stephen likes it. Yeah, okay, all right. You said something about a tour, did you? Oh, I've got a tour for you. Yes, it's all set up in the camera manager. All we've got to do is find it. So that's under video, right? And we don't want paths, we don't cross hairs. We want to load now. We've got one there. I've got one that's twice as long, and the same tour 3 times as long. I think I'll load this guy. Right. Okay. Look at the keyframes. Right. Okay. How's this work? Well, I've gone through. I've worked out how to get all my keyframes. I've only got 26. Last time I tried this with the camera manager, I didn't know this little trick. But see this little pencil here? Auto set speed. Click that after every keyframe, which I've done. Yeah, you did that all. Okay, what's that do? Well, if you don't do that, what it does is that it speeds into the transition, or the transition is speedy, then into the keyframe, and then zooms into the next keyframe. This actually adjust the speed between the keyframes, as you can see, depending on how far it had to travel and the time and everything else. So that's a great little trick that I learnt from watching Grounded Gamer's tutorial on the camera. It's worth having a little look at. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. Well, you'll remember, of course you will. Okay, I will. So we're all set up to go. Okay, what I do now, yep, I hide this down here. I'll hit the go button and then record the whole series, right? And then when I'm done with that, in editing, I'll blow all of this up slightly. I think it's 121%. And that gets rid of that stuff up the top, gets rid of this stuff at the bottom, and the keyframes thing that appears here all the time. So, right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Okay, good show. Let's go. Well, you buggered that up, didn't you? Let's go to the first keyframe. Hit the stop button. Right, try again. Go to the first keyframe. Thank you. Right, now that you've got that lined up, let's hit go again. Sorry about that. Oh well, got to make some stuff-ups to keep the audience on their toes. That's true. Well, at least it's working this time. Shh, silence, I kill you. Oh, really? Jeff Durham, here we come. Okay, welcome to 20th century Newcastle. This is a large 1:2 vanilla Transport Fever 2 map, representing the important coal mining and industrial region which developed around the mouth of the Hunter River here in Newcastle, Australia. Transport Fever 2 can be much more than just a simple transport tycoon game. We've all been there and hopefully beaten that game many times, so forget that, baby. Yeah, forget all of that. Your new objective is to rebuild the city of Newcastle and its surrounds during the early to mid 20th century. There's Newcastle Station, that's where it's supposed to go. This railway line that we see zooming straight up the middle of the screen, depicted by 3-metre wide pedestrian streets, because you can't do railway lines in the save editor thingy. Right, that's the Great Northern Railway Line, headed west out to our western portal. And the thicker line just to the left of screen, that represents historical lines that were there that aren't there no more. Makes things a little bit confusing, doesn't it? Oh, tram tracks. I see tram tracks. Yes, they go all over this place, from Newcastle, west to Wallsend, south to Spears Point down at the bottom of the map. Naturally, they're not there anymore. So, look, yes they are. Let's pretend they didn't rip them up. And see that triangle there? Forget about the bit to the left. That didn't happen until the 1870s. This line, however, that we're following, that went through in the 1850s. Right. Including the ones off to the left there. Okay, the thick ones. That's it. This map looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. That bridge looks a lot better too now that you uncurved it. Yes, I know. And here we go. A couple of no longer rail-served industries. They might still be there, but they used to be served by rail. Oh, good. And this one here, off to the left, is the line out to Wallsend, and directly in front of us is the Newcastle District Abattoirs. It took me forever to find out exactly where that was located, but I cracked it. I got there. You certainly did. Now, this Y, it doesn't exist until 1984. That's the bit that heads off out to Kooragang Island. Ooh, right. And on your right here, Sandgate Cemetery. Lovely. and Sandgate Quarry, I presume where they got the sand from. And that flyover you see in the railway line, 2006, remember? Those right-hand freight lines were introduced because it just got a tad congested. Right. Now this area, in real life, is more wetland, more swamp. But that's boring for a Transport Fever 2 map, considering you can turn it into a portal. Ta-da! And that's what we've got here. If you're using the Spitzkehrer mod, then just from about here onwards, you can have multiple Spitzkehrers so that you can park trains, stable them, turn them around up in that tunnel straight ahead under that hill and send them back again. Hey, that's pretty cool. I love the concept. It certainly gives your model train set something, some action. Oh dear. But look at the wetlands. Look at them. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good representation. And smack dab in the middle of the screen is Wallsend Airfield. Oh, lovely. Well, it doesn't connect to anything. Not quite sure where we're going to put another airstrip, but there'll be places. On the right, in the future, just beyond that farm, lots and lots of new suburbs. Probably lots of Mozzies too, but don't tell them. I don't know. No. But historical suburb, this one, coming up here, is Wallsend. It's on the tram line. Oh, yes, so it is. There it is. It's got its own railway line and a passenger station out here in the middle of nowhere. Right. And a good station right there as well. Okay, and then the railway line kept on going along that thick brown pedestrian pathway, roadway, street, out to a couple more collieries. Yes, and as you can see, the tram line went for a jaunt through the bush as well. Right, heading out all the way to the west of the map here, to a place we don't have called West Wallsend, and right down to the south, through Boolaroo and Spears Point, which you'll see shortly. But look at all these trees. Now you might think that could be a problem. I don't think it is, because I've gone over all these trees so many times with the light touch on the eraser to thin them out an awful lot. Oh, good. And in actual fact, it looks like everything's covered, but you can see below there's quite a lot of gaps there. There's probably just as many trees on a normal Transport Fever 2 AI generated map as there are here. Okay, what's that on the left? That's Cardiff Workshops. We're rejoining the southern part of the Great Northern Line. Oh, you're confusing me. Yeah, I know. Ignore those sidings there. That's off at the Sulphide Works. The thin brown line is the main line, south. Right, over the river and off into my coal mine with the fancy little spinny round thing. I'll use your words, mate. I think you're trying to say loop, aren't you? Yeah, that'll do. This is the first area I developed on this map. It's probably my most favourite bit too. Lovely. Alright, we're heading down to the bottom part of the map now, the southern end, looking at the beautiful little township of Terralba. Yes. And very shortly, the line actually does bend around here as it heads off down to the Central Coast in Sydney. So that's sort of semi-realistic. What isn't though, however, is this southern portal here, a loop, so that your trains can have continuous running from one end of the map to the other. Okay, yep, I like that idea. More Spitzkehrers in the bottom here, please, so that you can stable trains, park them there up for a little bit. Make them wait while you turn them around. Right, okay. And now we're at the bottom end of our map, or the northern part of Lake Macquarie. Roger. Spears Point on the left, just near the bridge that doesn't exist yet at 5 Irons. And the bay at the top of the screen, Warner's Bay. Right. And over to the right, off screen, you might see a little bit of it shortly. I'm not too sure, but right down the very bottom, I've put in just a little bit of land that you could use as a shipping portal for boats on the lake, because why not? You can do that. We can get all the way up these creeks here, or a long way up these creeks. Okay, so that's something to look out for. There it is. Oh, not going to be there long. Bye. And the bit over to the right, Crowdis Bay. Interesting historical fact. Crowdis Bay and Valentine's. Young Stephen, around 5 or 6 or 7 years of age, used to holiday there with his parents and auntie and uncle at Christmas times. How's that for a totally useless fact? Gee, how about that? Alright, we're heading north now, basically up the guts of the map. Lots of dirt roads, obviously, in the 1900s. Right. And not so obvious is the 1980s freeway that you now see there. That's just there. It's not connected to anything. That's just there so that when you get to the 1980s, you can connect it and make it work. Good-o. I like that idea. Yep. And here's Raspberry Colliery in the middle of screen. Right. And just to the left, from under the middle of the freeway there and coming up, that's the Great Northern Line heading north. Right. I love the history here. It's fascinating. All these old collieries, all the old mines. There's a couple to the right that we've missed. There's a line that goes here, disappears past these mines and off to the right that goes down to another town on Lake Macquarie that isn't on the map, but hey, it's still there. And another colliery, and love it. Now, I've done nothing with that brown area there because I'm going to leave that up to you. That brown area there is Broadmeadow Yards. Good luck with that. And just north of the bridge here is Broadmeadow Station. And coming up to the Y, they built a yard in the middle of that Y there. Woodville Junction, I think it was called. So you could go back to the historical maps of the 1930s and see what they did there. Or, if you're brave enough, yes, are you brave enough, young Padawan? I don't know, geez, it'd be a hard job. This is the 1974 version of Port Waratah. There is a 1936 version. Check out the Craigies 1936 map of Newcastle to see what you could do there. And I just showed it earlier on those satellite images. Right. And then, of course, Kooragang Island. Love it. Yeah, all reclaimed from marshes and swamps. Really. Yep. In fact, a lot of the Port of Newcastle has been reclaimed from marshes and swamps. Filled with ballast. Yep. Well, it worked. There's so much still happening down there now, although probably not as much. Well, I don't know. When BHP was there, lots and lots of stuff. But now you've got all these coal loaders and exporters, and my God. Now, that area to the right of screen, what about it? That's about the only spot you can put an airport. Ooh, hadn't thought about that. Well, Newcastle Airport's about 20 kilometres further to the north at, can't remember the name of it now, Williamstown, that's it. Shares the Air Force base with the airport. Yeah, oh, really? Yep. But as we take a nice little slow turn looking down on our map from outer space. It's a bit juddery, isn't it? Oh, shut up. Well, no, that's all right. That's all right. People won't notice that. Well, they will now. You told them, stupid. Yeah, all right. Okay. Are we there yet? We're almost done. We're just going to zoom around a little bit to the left over Stockton. There's the bridge. Stockton Bridge joined Stockton to the rest of Newcastle in the early 1970s. Until then, it was ferries, passenger ferries, and unfortunately, things we don't have, vehicular ferries. Why don't we have a more... Oh, actually, might check that out. I have seen vehicle ferries. That's true. It's true. Not quite sure if it'll do the job here, but we'll be able to check out all of that sort of stuff. Now, this is all left-hand drive trains. So that means UK signals, UK crossing gates, UK, all sorts of stuff. I'm going to put speed limits on these tracks as well. And that also means, because, well, it's the British colony, we're going to have a lot of UK rolling stock, okay? Yeah. Bad luck, but I like it. Oh dear. These maps, they do look quite realistic, I think, and by the time we start putting everything all along this river and put the stations in and get the trains moving and harbours and God knows what else, this is just going to look abso-bloody-lutely fantastic. Tell me what you think in the comments below. It would be greatly appreciated. So that's not a bad little overview of the map as it is. One of the things I did forget, however, dummy me, was the overseas ports that I've got here in the northeastern corner. The portal here, the shipping portal, because they're going to be needed. You're going to need to bring iron ore in and ship coal out. So that's just for starters. So that's all very exciting. I can't wait to see all of the harbours and all the docks and everything else that can be here. And, all through here and along there, my God, it's going to be crazy. All right, let's have a look at the towns. There are, oh my goodness, yep, there are 53 suburbs here. Really? Yes. All sorts of them. We'll go from the smallest at Bar Beach and Newcastle East, Civic and Hill, Newcastle West. They're basically all down in this area here, to the biggest, which is, Mayfield. Right. Which is over there. Okay. Because Mayfield covers an awful large area, as you can see, with 4 distinct zones. And industries, how about them? Let's have a little quick look. Goods, yes. Food, we have Arnott's Biscuits. Oh, righto. Carlton United Breweries, indeed. Hamilton Flour Mill, and also the abattoirs at Newcastle. Right. A couple of tools, fuels being imported. Right. Machines, yes. Lots of brickwork. So that means there's lots of stone. And refined oil also being imported. Plastics. Plenty of timber for these sawmills. And the convict sawmill, that's at Newcastle itself. That's the original one. These other names, I've sort of looked at Google and said, okay, where are these timber suppliers that are currently in existence? Oh, yeah, duh. Well, I can't find out where they were hysterically, so why not? Okay, steel mills everywhere, yes. Ooh, market for coal for export. Yeah, well, there's a steel mill here, because otherwise all the coal that you're collecting here to go onto boats has got nowhere to go to. Right, okay. All right. Where were we? Lots of farms, as you'd expect. Right. 4 quarries. Is that enough? Oh, it'll do. Imported iron ore. Yes, it has to come from South Australia. I think it's where it came from originally, because there's none locally. And look at all these collieries. The only 2 that are still open out of that list are 4 Mile Creek, which is out here, a bit to the west of this actual location, right? And what's the other one? The one down the bottom end of the map, Stockton Bore Coal Mine, my favourite. It's the first area that I started working on. And I'm thinking that's a good spot for a power station, another power station. With all the coal that's coming in, we could ship some up to the port. We could also supply a power station here. Right, all sorts of things we can do. Lots of forests. But those 2 coal mines, they're the only ones that are still there. The rest of them all closed down. But we're going to keep them open. Why not? Well, that's what the map's all about. The reason we're keeping all of these open is because, let's zoom, most of the coal for the Newcastle port now comes from here, the Hunter Valley, all the mines and open cuts and everything else that are further up to the west, which we don't go to. So, yeah, okay. Fun, 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 fun. Oh, my gosh, look at all these places. It's everywhere, everywhere. I know, it's crazy. Not so crazy down this end of the map. No, a little bit more rural, although if we were to go to the modern day with all of the suburbs that have developed down here, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. And next time around, we are going to make a start on this map. What are you going to do? Coal staiths, I think. This was the original industry for Newcastle. Coal came from these pits here, coal staiths, onto the ships, and they exported it. Most of it, 99% of it was exported. It was Australia's first export. So I got to build some coal staiths there. And then we're going to try and get the rest of this map happening. I think we start with the east-west rail link from Newcastle all the way over the map out to Thornton and beyond, here to the Western Portal. And that gives us a chance to bring coal in from 4 Mile Creek. And maybe not. I might try and get some of these older established coal mines happening first. Right. Not so much these. These came in after the southern portion of the Great Northern Railway was built. But this one, I think this is called Raspberry, is it? Raspberry Colliery, yeah. This one had its own little route along a street here. I think it was called the Caledonian Railway. And it joins up with this lot here and here, right, to come down and around, right, and then along through here and into the coal staith. So maybe that's a good starting point. Sure. So we can do passenger services out to about Hamilton, which is there, Hamilton Station. Maybe a bit further. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Whatever happens, it's going to be interesting. Oh, you love this too much. Yeah, well, look, this is amazing. Look at this map. Look at what Transport Fever can do. And we're not playing a tycoon game anymore. We are recreating history. And I love that because it has more of a sense of purpose to it than just trying to beat the game by linking all of these things up. Because we've been there, we've done that, and now it's time for something different. Look at these places. Well, they're not going to last long. I will be removing them the moment I put some railway lines in. Sorry, guys. You've been warned. Get ready for that. And until then, it's, oh, wait, stop. What? You keep forgetting to mention this. This is vitally important. Right, okay, yes, I do. Okay, tools, right, player ownership. See all these things? They're all player owned. Right, we've been over that several times. Yes, I know, but the thing I forget to mention is that these streets, because they are player-owned, right, they will not upgrade over time. See, normally in the game, these aren't player-owned, and as the date progresses, right, the game says this is no longer an Era B street, it now needs to be upgraded to an Era C Street, or whatever. Currently it's Era A, Era B, 1910, right. And the AI will eventually update all of the streets that are in the game, except if they're player-owned. So that task, oh gosh, is up to me, right? Yes, that's correct. So now you can say, hooroo from you. Gosh, and it's goodbye from me as well. And yeah, we'll see you next time. And until then, bye.